Yeah, I know I'm a little late. Yeah, that's what happens when you kind of get distracted on some things. Now, some of the things I want to talk about was from the live stream that I had earlier today. I could think of one time. See, well, first off, let's start with this. Marriage was a combining of two families, either due to blood feuding or to combine the wealth of two families. It was typically used in like China to for like two warring families. Now, now, what it is the one time marriage would have, like I said, marriage was always beneficial because it would always either elevate one family or keep two families at the same status. Now, the one time marriage would have been greatly beneficial was the Hatfields and the McCoys. Now, the thing about the Hatfields and the McCoys, if you look back in history, it's one of the bloodiest rivalries. Hell, and to this day, certain aspects of the Hatfields and McCoys are still going on right now. They're still going on right now, the Hatfields and McCoys, whether you believe it or not. It's just not. It's just under the radar. Now, any other situation, it can literally go to piss. Now, I'm not saying that marriage is not beneficial, but I'm saying is as it stands today, it is not beneficial. Not even to the Hatfields and the McCoys today. Because instead of a gunslinging battle, it will be a marriage battle. They've been bloody rivals since, wow, for a long time. It would turn into a marriage battle. Because it would take only once. But the thing is, marriage is such a detriment today that it's not even worth it. Now, we're going to talk about trolling. If you troll somebody, for me, trolling, I typically don't troll for clout. I troll to get somebody out of my AO. And for y'all, those of you who don't know what AO is, it's area of operation. Now, there are some people that have actually managed to. I mean, for a very rare few, some people will dig in and dig their heels in until they get the proper bouncer. But that's neither here nor there. Now, on to the next topic. This is basically just a bunch of random topics that I'm just gonna freaking go on until somebody asks a question. Now here we go. That I seen Tico's latest video on the black pillars, and My advice is, wow, like he went off on him. Just to be honest with you, he did go off on him, and he said what needed to be said. Oh, MGTOW Live, welcome. Now there's two. Now there's a different version of the black pill. I'm MGTOW, so that makes me red. Until somebody literally kidnaps me. That's it. I'm MGTOW, so that makes I mean say until somebody kidnaps me, I'm gonna be MGTOW. Yeah, we're all red pill. All right, now the reason, like I said, there's a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't believe in the black pill. I see black pill. Oh no, this one. I see black pill as right. It's good to be a monk, but the way I see black pill is certain. Oh, no, there's no need to be sorry. There's no need to be sorry to be a monk. You know, but I mean, I'm gonna say I see black pill as okay, it's supposed to be knowledge, irrefutable knowledge. But the problem is they haven't watched enough George Carlin. Now, let me tell you a little bit about George Carlin. He said things that I mean, well, he said things that was that were dark but true, and irrefutable. I mean, look today. Some of the things that he's been saying is coming to fruition. Now, the way I see it is like you can't like I said, the difference between MGTOW, red pill, and black pill knowledge on women. I know color gangs. It's amusing, but it's amusing. I know. The thing is, the black pill. You're not supposed to be completely black. You're not supposed to just dive into these things because when you dive into the dark, you're grasping at straws. That is why I dabble. That is why I walk the line and pluck things that I can to examine them. Like this whole lookism crap, it's crap. This whole resources crap, it's crap. Because I'm about to blow some of their philosophies out the water. Okay, let's see. Women only go for resources. I can count how many times that I've seen that how many times a homeless, a starving homeless artist will attract a woman, and she will literally date this starving musician. I don't mean to poke freaking poke needles at the black pill community, but it needs to be said. Oh, I'm under 6 foot. You're under 6 foot. Oh, that's nice. You can get extent. You can literally Get a foot and some change added to your height via plastic surgery. Oh, my voice is this. They have surgery for your voice. You can sound like freaking Barry Manilow, Michael Jackson. Hell, if you really feel inclined to, you can sound you can it, like widen the range of your vocal cords. But as I said, the black pill, the people who dive into the black pill are copying. I don't dive into something that I can't see into. It's like diving in a muddy water. You dive in a muddy water, you don't know the depth of the water. You don't know what's swimming in that water. And you don't know what type of objects are in that water. Now, on to the next. Why am I MGTOW? Actually, better yet, why I don't, why I'm hesitant on red pilling married people. I'm very hesitant, extremely hesitant. I don't red pill married people because it can be catastrophic. Very catastrophic. How many pills? But I'll say I'm gonna adjust this. How many pills can there be? Can it be red or blue, like the color of the gangs? No. There's either one. It's basically you take one path, you basically check out of society, the societal norms, and in some cases check out of society altogether. You follow the other path. You just basically live your blissful life unaware. But back to them things, like I'm very hesitant on red pilling married folk because when you do something like that, I don't want to be responsible for causing a rift in a marriage. I don't want to be the one responsible for that. Now, I've learned to control what I say online. You know, I actually learned a lot better with interaction than I was about a year ago. Now, as a content creator that does not show their face, I personally have a code of conduct. First code of conduct is present content as if present content on my channel as if I was showing my face. Now I could literally go off willy-nilly and just literally just go off and left, right, and center field. But I try to restrain myself to being as professional as possible. I also encourage the people who are subscribed to me to not only think for themselves, and if they like the content, do whatever they want. And I also encourage people not to interact with the detractors. Now, the reason I do that is because eventually, I know it's not gonna be. I mean, eventually, if I say something that somebody does not like, they can dox me. And I have a very fragile ecosystem that I live in. Now, I'm supposed to be waiting for somebody, but I don't think they're gonna come. Now, another thing I've mentioned is the Federal Reserve. Now, I've noticed. I'm pretty sure you've noticed around places of business that the Federal Reserve has issued some sort of thing about coins. Now, they could print or stamp more coins and money, but I'm not sure if I actually covered this yet. But they're choosing not to. Why is that? Well, they're going into which I do believe. Hey, Sigma, how you doing? You want to join? Now, they're going into a cashless system. They're tracking into a cashless system. Well, let's figure this out here. Post a comment. They're going into a cashless system. Now, the thing about a cashless system, the way they brought it upon is through fear. Through fear mongering. Like, make the citizens afraid of something. To change something. Now, if the citizens are afraid of something, they're more compliant. It's like kick a dog or a cat, they're more compliant. Now, I'm not saying go out there and kick animals. Don't do it. I frown upon that. I don't like that. What I'm saying is, if you want to get something passed, you make the citizens afraid. What do we have here? We have a bunch of citizens. They're afraid of the oxygen around them. What's happening? They have issued things like cashless systems, aka using your bank card, which also has which in some cases bank cards have an RFID reader or RFID chip that I'd say does a pretty good job of making it simple.
Yeah, sağlık iyi mi?
Oh, Sigma, welcome.
How you doing, bro?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Just talking
Yeah,
about random
what's the
subjects.
topic?
Oh,
Yeah,
just
what's the
random
topic?
Q&A. Just random Q&A. If anybody wants, if anybody has any questions
Hey,
about me or
you
for
know something?
what's that?
I listened to Mr. Elite's last video, and I was slightly impressed this time. Halfway through his video, he said, "Let's sort things out, brothers. Bring things home." That's what his video is called.
Okay.
And halfway through his video, I think the penny dropped with him. I think the bucket turned over slightly and realised, because he tried to make out that he didn't understand that you couldn't talk to women if you're MGTOW, and he doesn't understand. It's more logical than that. You have to speak with women. You can't blast
You
yourself
have
to women.
you have
You
to be
have to talk to
logical when
women
you talk to
somehow.
them.
Yeah.
You have to be
So
careful, right?
he does understand, because he changed his name to Red Pill Elite. So he does understand the difference between being celibate, because that's what MGTOW is, being celibate. Right? Because you understand in your mind that there's no point getting involved with a woman when your time, your money, and your effort's just going to go to waste, when you've only got 20 or 30 or 40 years left to make some money and have a nest egg towards the end. You start realizing that when you get older, because I'm 46 now. So I realize, hang on, I've only got another 25, 30 years to make a nest egg. Money. My son's 18. Right. I'm lucky. You know, he's left home. So I'm happy. I'm not engaged. I'm not involved with a girl. I'm not engaged to any girl. I'm not getting married to any girl. But I won't get involved with the girl, and I will choose that point. So imagine you're in a supermarket and you see a girl. You make eye contact with her. She knows you like her and you like her, but you got a choice. You either go with it, and you come out your celibacy. You know, you're MGTOW, man going his own way. That's what it means, MGTOW. Or you walk away and you keep your status and have a bit of pride,
right?
And feel happy that you did walk away because you didn't waste that time, effort, and money. Because What if she decided she didn't like you? What if she decided she didn't like you? Or she thought you were too short and try to put you in a category? Well, why? What's the point? Why even put yourself through that? No point, is there?
The only way that I would get involved is if she kidnapped me and held me.
Yes.
That's the only way. Is that they have to start kidnapping people? You know.
Well, they can't really do anything with my testes because I've had them snipped. So
yes.
Look, I'm not ashamed to talk about it, because you know why? People don't understand. It's an adult subject, just like other things are adult subjects. So don't be ashamed about talking about things that you've had done or what's happened to you. Right. It's whether you learn from it, because I try to explain in my videos that the past plays a part to the future. So whatever rules and regulations to bring out in the past has a play to the future regarding the United Nations from 1956 onwards. So any legislation that they've tried to update, even though it's in your Magna Carta or your Bill of Rights, they've tried to slightly change it bit by bit by bit. Now they're trying to take your rights off you with your Bill of Rights, with your guns. Why do you think they're doing it? Because what they did back then, and your past plays your future. Your future's not written, but your past plays a part. Because if you don't learn from your past, how are you supposed to make the right decisions in the future, not to get yourself in that position?
Right. Like I said, I'm comparing today's society to 1930s Germany. Actually, 1920s Germany.
Right.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm having an argument with my phone right now. But
Hey, patience. Don't worry about it, man. It'll resolve itself. It's just the internet. I mean, there'll be a lot of people on over in America, won't there?
I'm gonna need a new phone charger cable pretty soon. But for the most
part,
what is it?
Like, C or a B? We're at a C or a B.
It's a USB-C.
They're not that deal, man.
Yeah, but it's like I'm comparing 1930s Germany to today's society, and I see a lot of similarities. lot of similarities. Now, I do think
Are you
that,
talking about like nationalism?
yep, nationalism. I
Thing?
see the destruction of statues. Look, I see now. What you don't understand, what you don't see is there's a resurgence. See, originally Antifa got their asses whooped by the Nazis. If you look back at the history of Antifa,
Yeah.
anytime that Antifa resurfaces, BS ain't too far. Now, Antifa may have been planted by Germany, by the Nazi Germany. That's what I think. I think, judging by the behavior of Antifa and
The far right, yeah.
researching the
very far
history
right
of Antifa, that means that they were planted in Germany to make people afraid and to allow the Nazi party to get into power, because they were wiped out by the Nazis. You know, they were wiped out by the Nazis, and it took a world war of multiple different countries to fix that problem.
Did they really fix it, or did they fix it to their own benefit?
No, well, they just basically masked it with some plaster of Paris, and they just filled it in with plaster of Paris to make a blank mold. What they did was they took I think what they did was they took the understanding of what happened in the 1930s, and they're using it now. They're using it now to push in a narrative.
I think the far right, Antifa, are infiltrators. They're not traditionalists. Well, right. They are traditionalists. They believe in. But they believe in, instead of they believing in a family structure. And it doesn't matter if you have a relationship with a black woman and have a family, or a white woman and have a family, or a Chinese woman and have a family. That's what traditional. It doesn't matter what woman that you get with and have a child with, right? You're in a family unit. What traditional right is, but your far right is Antifa, with like Nazism, where they believe just breeding white with white and all this, that, and the other. That is the far right. That is, I don't believe in that, and I'm even thinking that the normal right is not right, the left is not right, the far left is not right. Feminism.
I think they're all insane. Every last bit of them are insane.
Right. Well, I'm not even right. I'm in the middle of the left and the right. Not far left, not far right, not left, not right. I'm in the middle.
I'm not left. I'm not right. I am logical. And
yeah, because we know that the family system's gone down now, so we know it's collapsed. There's no point. So there's no point in being traditional and a right winger when they believe in traditional. When it's all gone, it's all fucked. It's all gone. It's nailed. The nails in the coffin. It's gone.
It's been destroyed and killed.
Yeah. So there's no point, and that's why I'm in the middle now, because I know that doesn't exist anymore. Traditionalism doesn't exist anymore.
Now I'm going to break this to you. I think that Antifa was placed so the Nazis could get power, and I think that Antifa was placed in the United States society so that somebody else can get power, so that they, basically, let's say what happened before after World War II. I mean, after World War I, they had the Spanish flu, right, or plague, right?
Yeah. The Spanish flu plague before then.
They had an economic collapse, right?
Yeah, because the world did, because America did in the 1930s. That's what the Big Depression was, wasn't it?
Yeah. And now, what are we looking at now? We are looking at
Well,
a pandemic that may or may not be man-made, and
I don't think
a
people
hidden economic
realize.
collapse.
I don't think people realize how deep this depression is going to go, because they thought 2008 were bad. Right, now
They
you
don't.
think about it.
I don't think
Since
people
February.
realize. Yeah, I don't think people realize how deep this depression is right now.
No, hey, believe me, this is just the tip of the iceberg, right? You imagine from February right through till June. This Friday's Boris Johnson's recommending everyone go back to work, but it's a bank holiday, so it's not going to be till Monday. And each day, England is accruing 2.9 billion debt every day more, because they can't pay the deficit, because no one's paid taxes to pay the
To
deficit off.
who?
Right?
To who?
We're losing 2.9 billion profit every day when we're not working. When England doesn't work. Well, company's not working, so they can't pay the. Well, we're losing it 2.9. That means our deficit goes up because we're not paying our bills off. So our deficit goes up at 2.9 billion.
Who does
on our deficit?
Right. Who does he?
We owe
owe?
Well, I don't know. We probably owe goods to America, to China, to other countries. So this is what I'm saying. Every country owes each other country debts. It's all interconnected. This is what people don't realize. America trade with China. China trade with England. England trade with America and China and Japan and other countries. And this is what all the trade deals are about, regarding Europe trade deals and shit. And people are arguing over trade deals and embargoes, you know. So basically, right, we owe a debt to several countries, right? We owe a debt to several countries. Now, each day we don't pay more into the system to pay that deficit off. There's more interest that gets paid on every day, more and more and more, right? And so you keep paying it. And all you're doing is paying the interest off the deficit for the UK deficit. You're just paying it off, the interest. That's it, right?
Right.
And if you look at it, you might bite into a little bit of the deficit and bring down the debt of the populace of England, right? Bring down the debt that they owe fully to other countries, right? So what they've done is they've gone, right, okay, to bring down the deficit, what we're going to do is we're going to allow this corona time and all this, that, and the other, but really it's going to make us rich, because people are going to start relying on more on benefits. So everyone more is in that category of middle class to poverty, and say it's equal, everything's equal because you're getting all paid the same. That's how they're going to justify it, right? So basically, right, when it comes to that, what we're talking about, because it was really important, man. Seriously, I forgot.
That's okay. But the way I see it is like we're already in a depression. Like it's so. Have they stopped printing money printing and stamping money in your country yet?
Well, did you not know that secretly it came out that in September last year the economy actually collapsed last year?
Right.
Apparently. So you think about it, if you buy gold and silver, everything's based on gold and silver. Why do you think they got rid of Gaddafi? Because he was printing gold coins, and that's why they got rid of him, because it were affecting the US dollar. That's why they had him shot off. That's why the people killed him eventually, and his people turned against him.
And it's like they've stopped printing. They stopped printing cash. They've stopped stamping coins. They're transitioning into a cashless society, which is ultimately going to collapse again.
Well, if the country owes billion, right? So imagine if England owes £100 billion, right? 100 billion or trillion, say trillion, right? And each day they put 15% on top of that. So each day they're putting 15% if you don't pay any of the debt off, right? So imagine everyone's out of work. 2.9 billion is going on top of that each day because of interest, because we can't pay it off because no one's working.
You will never pay. It was never designed for you to pay it off in the first place.
Well, exactly. It's to make the rich rich. So basically, from February right through to June, each day 2.9 billion on top of the deficit, and then Boris Johnson says, "I'm going to pump in 1.14 billion." Trillion, or $1 billion, pounds, not not dollars, pounds.
Uh,
I don't know if it was trillion or billion, 1.14. So where's that money coming from if people are not working? Only
it's coming
essential
from a
workers.
loan. It's coming from a
No, they're
loan.
just printing money. It's an IOU, and it don't mean fuck all. Yeah, and that means these stimulus payments that they're giving people. Well, that's a loan, right? Some of it's loans. They're asking companies to get a loan right off them. That means that if the company goes bust, they might take a loan out on the house to try and back it up. That means you're the bank, the company, and your house. That means if it goes bust, they've got it. That's it.
Right. And that's why I kept my stimulus package in a savings account. I didn't even touch it.
Let's put everyone in debt, close the world down. Oh no, by the way, I'll give you this money, but you owe so much back. Oh, you can't afford it, can you not? Oh, we'll just have to take your business in your house then, won't we? They
And
don't
as
give a
I said,
shit.
I've kept my stimulus package in my savings account for that reason. Oh, I owe you this
Yeah,
much money. We'll take it out savings account. It's our such accrued interest. I'm not. I mean, I'm crazy, not stupid. I know a trap when I see it. You know, and it's like I know a trap when I see it. And the stimulus package is to see who's going to bite, who's going to take the bait.
if they give a stimulus package, you'll spend it. They're winning, and they'll know the women will spend it because they ain't got control. They don't see about saving like you do, like you just explained. They don't think
Right.
about that.
Like, where's this money coming from?
Because if they're not paying the rent, what are they spending the money on then? They're not paying the rent.
That's a good question.
Well, it is, isn't it? If women are turning around and saying, "Oh, let me have a sugar daddy," well, hang on, let me ask you one thing: what are you spending your money on? Because you should be able to pay your rent.
You should be able to afford to pay your rent. You should be able to pay your rent with a sugar daddy. You got a sugar daddy and you can't pay your rent?
Well, in order to attract a sugar daddy, you have to have your hair done, makeup done, maybe some liposuction done, maybe a boob job. They have to spend money to get money back, and that's true. Spend money to gain money, but they're doing it as if, well, I might not have a roof over my head now. Well, that's your fucking problem. When your tits fucking done, you're an idiot, dickhead.
Hey, nobody told them to do what they do.
Exactly, they do it because they think they can do it. They're idiots, man. I think I don't bother with women no more. It's no point. It's just a game. Everything's a game. The world's a game. When you're born, Well, when you're born, they take your name. You know why? They give you a name so they can register, so you pay tax later on when you get older, right? And give you a national insurance number, right? And then when you're in between, they make money off you. Your marriage, your children, they make money off you. Getting engaged, getting married, they make money off you. Getting engaged, they make money off you. You have to improve yourself to gain that girl, so you're having your teeth done and all this and so they make money off you. And then when you die, by the way, let's
all right. It's more like it's all it is like if you focus on yourself, and like I said, people like to do self-improvement for reasons of trying to impress somebody. I don't do. I mean, I've literally improved my. They make it complicated, I've improved my situation just by doing a couple online classes.
Yeah, I don't mean it that way, man. I don't mean it in that way. Well, what I'm trying to say is that the government see everyone not as a name, but they see you as money bags walking around waiting to be exploited. That's it. That's all you are, a money bag, a big wobbling money bag.
Right. And the way I see it is if I try to minimize the amount, the way I see it, if I try to minimize, if I put money into myself, I can now be able to elevate myself from that situation. If I get enough money and allow it to accrue interest, I mean, it's not going to be for me. It's not going to be for me. It's going to be for hopefully if a younger kid decides to go MGTOW, decides to go red pill.
How old are you, on the wind? How old are you?
I'm 30. I'm 32, almost 33. It's not going to be for me.
Okay. I thought you were younger than that. I thought you were younger than that.
No.
33. That's your mind. Your mind will start changing soon. You watch. Your mind will start changing. You won't think what you did.
But it is like it's going to be like if a young kid turns 18 and he decides to go MGTOW, red pill, and begins focusing on himself. When I get older, I know that I can't take it with me when I die. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pay it forward to this pay some of it forward to this younger man to try to give him a leg up in society. And I'm gonna
like adoption. Are you talking about adopting or something?
First off, as a man, they're not gonna let me adopt because I'm a man.
Because you're not in a relationship. Yeah.
Right. But when someone turns 18 and they've adopted red pill and MGTOW philosophy, when they're 18, I can then pay it forward for them, give them a slight leg up.
Yeah.
Because I don't expect me to have children. Now, the problem that
you got to be careful though, because that can be open to abuse, couldn't it?
Right. Because if I got 1 foot in the banana peel, 1 foot in the grave, and basically I'm taking medication to keep me alive, all I got to do is just stop taking the medication. I drop dead. I mean, what people don't realize. Is like when you're older, and you're basically taking medication to stay alive. All you gotta do is just stop taking that medication. You'll be dead in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you want to meet
someone who needs the medication. It's a different matter for somebody who's got a mental problem who chooses to take the medication or not. If it's life threatening, you're taking medication. That's a different matter. You're right.
Right, and it's like you wanna try to me too me. I will purge my. Go scorched earth. Purge an account. Give it to a younger man. Give everything you own to this young man, and drop dead. She doesn't get nothing. The young man gets everything. Whatever happens, what he does with it's his business. It's his business. It's not my problem.
She won't be happy about that, though, would she?
Right. Listen, you want to try to me to me as an old man? I will literally give it to a younger man, and then drop dead. Give everything that I own to a younger man and drop dead. You will go ahead, me to me. That's what I think would happen with Stan Lee. That's what I think would happen.
At the end, isn't it? That's the only thing you got to think about at the end. If you've got money, who to leave it to? If you've not got kids,
Right. I mean, Stan Lee. I don't think Stan Lee had anybody to leave it to. Really, leave his legacy to. And that's what happened. Yeah, Disney bought it because it was up for sale, and Disney screwed it up.
You mean Lauren Hardy?
Mm-hmm.
Lauren Hardy, is that who you're talking about? Yeah.
I think so.
Laurel Stanley, Laurel something Stanley, yeah.
Yeah, like Stan Lee, like I said, that's what I think would happen to Marvel. They just tried to harass Stan Lee. They harassed Stan Lee.
Yeah. I got it wrong. Stan Lee's a comic Marvel, isn't he? He's always had a little cameo in there sometimes.
Right. They killed him.
Yeah. Person.
They killed him.
I got the wrong person.
Yeah. Like I said, they killed Stan Lee.
Why did you say they killed him?
Well, I mean, they didn't kill him directly. They killed him by harassing him. He was 90 years old. He was old. You know?
Yeah, look at the ragging off his fucking arms too.
Right. And he was able to move. He was able to stick and move. He was 90 something years old, almost 100. And that's the thing. When you leave, like I said, if you have a legacy, leave it for a young person. It's like you're old, you have a legacy, leave it for a young person. Hell said, all right, this young man has good hope. Yeah,
just be careful. Just be careful you get. That's all.
Right. It's like the thing is like if you want to me too an old man. If I'm an old man, you try to me too me, I'll give it to a younger kid. Tell them like don't mess with me.
What you could do is you say to a young kid, if you really want to do a degree in law, I'll pay for it, but you don't get it. It goes towards your education.
Your education.
You do it through a lawyer, so therefore the only time he can access it is when he can prove he's paying for it for his education.
Right.
Understand?
Right. Get as many, like I said, pay for your education. Right. Pay for your education. Give it to this man. Give it to this young man. Pay for your education. Once you start getting yourself established as a lawyer, you get. I mean, and you get access to the rest of it.
Yeah, you're right.
You
know? You write it in the clause that it helps men as well.
Right. It helps. Right. It helps men. Because at this point, it's like that's what we need to start doing. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm a truck driver. Besides, I mean, if it wasn't for normal bills, like they within 9 years, oh shoot, I'd be a millionaire. If I literally delete my house, delete the place that I live in, and use the
like that film, wasn't it? Brewster's Millions.
Yeah. Right. Like I said, if I literally take my income, every last bit of if I take my income, delete the place, my residency, delete all the unnecessary crap, and have basically a PO box somewhere in the city I reside in, I could make a lot of money.
I can imagine, just like on Bruce's Millions, the lad walks in and you're on the screen, and he said, "Right, boy, you have to reach this target and this target and this target, otherwise you don't get this amount of money for your education." Like your development this target, and then go and get your education.
Right. And once you get to the point where you're just basically okay. Now this kid's got a leg up, and it's like this freaking bat that tried to me, and I just basically right. I just basically just said okay. Yeah,
I knew a guy. Right, the same thing. He opened like a hostel. He helped people move. Lads who were on the street to put them up and then get them on their feet, but they abused it, didn't they? And he ended up fucking going bust because of it. That's what I'm saying. You got to be careful.
Right. I mean, some people aren't used to becoming in the cash, but you have to get them used and conditioned it over time. Mm. And it's like once they get used to having money, and they learn how to invest that money, then it's like they're gonna see their investment grow. Not only does he have to go to school, but he has to take that money that he's earned and also flip it, try to invest in it, Basic
management of money.
Right.
Yeah.
Basic management of money. Like pretty soon, I'm gonna start like certificate deposits, stocks and bonds, mostly bonds and certificate deposit, because stocks right now are kind of hectic.
I'd say gold and silver.
Right. Stocks are dangerous right now. Bonds and certificate deposits. They did
that with war bonds, didn't they? War bonds, and people lost because when they tried to cash in the war bonds, they wouldn't let them have the money.
Right. Now the thing is like but for the most part, you basically what it is like It's not war bonds. I'm looking for. It's like certificate deposits that gain interest. Now they're not going to gain as much interest, but that money there is going to
Yeah,
grow.
but don't forget they fluctuate with the stock market. So it
Right,
depends what stock market, depending on the value. So you're still taking a risk on the stock market in a way. In a way.
right. But it's slightly more secure, but not by much.
Yeah, but what if the stock market crashes altogether and the economy rent all the world crashes? What then? Then stock bonds things are not going to be worth anything.
Right. But then again, I also have taken steps to make sure that I can still trade some things like what you call it, seeds, like plant seeds.
Yeah, yeah,
I've got knives that I could trade. I've got
yeah. That's good.
like I said, I've got knives I could trade. I've got
But people are going to want knives, aren't they? People are going to want knives. People are going to want seeds because they
right,
want to grow shit. So they're going to be
right.
valuable. Yeah, of course they are.
Like I said, I've got
Same with
seeds
medication. Same with
and
vitamins. If you've got a lot of vitamins and minerals on you, you've got two big bottles of vitamin minerals, they're going to be worth something because
right.
if the economy does crash, people are not going to be able to go to pharmacy, are they?
Nope. Like I said, they're not gonna be able to buy seeds. They're not gonna buy able to buy food. And it's like every time I eat an apple, I started gathering apple seeds because you could do it. You could plant yourself an orchard, or you also have other things that you can make out of said apple seeds, which I will not say online.
Well, what climate do you live in? I don't want to know what country, but what climate? Is it hot, dry, what?
It has 4 seasons. It has four
Right,
seasons,
right.
and yeah,
If,
like I
if,
said,
you- if you were more towards the middle of America or the Mediterranean, then bananas are really good to grow because bananas have 25, 27 vitamins and minerals in just on its own.
right. But it's like toward Florida, they grow oranges,
Yeah.
and they grow oranges in Florida, or it's climate similar to Florida, and
Well, still,
they
I mean,
also have palm trees,
well,
like
I got
from
off
like
Kuala Lumpur. That was hot when I got off the plane. The hot wind, the moisture, and hot heat just fucking
right.
hit your face when you walked off the plane.
But you got used to it, right?
No, because I was only stopping out. I was going to Australia, so I was still in the airport, but it was still hot. But when you
Right,
got off the before you got in the airport, because the airport was air conditioned, when you got off the plane, just before you got about what 3/4 down the tube to go away from the plane, you could feel the heat. The heat were excruciating. It was like fuck. That nearly fainted me when I walked off the plane. It was like that dense and moist and heat
right.
wise. Yeah, it shocked me.
I mean, I travel anywhere with climates between 70 something degrees and close to 100. You know, so every now and again, I'll get out the truck to see what the weather's like to know what to expect going to to the next destination.
Yeah, yeah.
But the things that you need to collect: knives, swords, seeds,
Crossroads.
alcohol, and tobacco.
Don't forget your fire starters like cotton wool with Vaseline on, so you can start a fire with a steel
Right.
and a fire starter.
You can actually you ever seen those cattail willows, those cattail reeds?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can collect them, can't you, and burn them. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Collect
there's
enough of
anything survival. If you watch survival series like I do, Bear Grylls, there's a few other ones that I watch, and I look
most
to see certain things that they get. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
you can do more than anything if you're really observant. You know what I mean?
most of the stuff that I've learned was learned throughout my childhood. I was an
Yeah.
experimental young kid. I was very experimental as a kid. I could literally I could literally set it up, rub two sticks together, and make a fire. I understood heat and friction
So
was
a bit like thingy on the island. Who's he called? Who's he called? They got marooned on that island. That famous guy. Oh, what's he called? Fucking hell, Tom Hanks.
oh, you mean a freaking not
Castaway.
castaway, huh?
Yeah, Castaway. Where he's rubbing them
Castaway,
two. When he splits apart, when he gets a tantrum, he throws the coconuts, and then he gets that piece of wood and he starts trying to make fire, and he realizes that when he splits it a little bit and he's rubbing it and he's rubbing it and he's rubbing it, he puts a bit of coconut fiber in there, then he gets the flame, and that's how he does it. Persistence.
right? That's all. It's all it takes, really.
That's what you were saying, yeah. That's what you were saying about survival when you were younger, when rubbing two sticks together.
I was like I said, I was an experimental young kid, and I like I said, I was allowed, and it was kind of it was allowed back then, you know. Back back then, it was allowed, and they didn't worry too much about children
Whether
wandering
you
off
blew
too much.
your face off or not, or whether you blew
Right,
your fucking face off or your fingers off.
right. Yeah. I never. I mean, it was common sense that fireworks are going to blow your fingers off. You know, it was common sense that you don't want to hold on to a firecracker or an M80 for fear of losing your fingers.
Or burning half of them away.
Right. It's like there was like, I mean, yes, there were warning labels, but for the most part, we weren't stupid. We weren't a complete and utter bonehead.
This
You
is how
know?
dense the population of the human race is getting, right? They've gone
Yeah.
from written warnings to picture warnings. Now, you look on the cigarettes, they're put on now, the same as Australia, pictures on the front of people's lungs going black instead of saying smoking kills, because people are more visual instead of actually reading and learning. They're more visual now.
Right. We are a visual species. And
Yeah, well, you have VR and other things to keep you occupied because everyone's visual. They're tapping into the visual, aren't they? So therefore, it
and
control whatever you see, you
I'm
know.
like, well, first off, we didn't need. First off, back then, we didn't. Well, before. I mean, this is why I think we should take warning labels off. You know, of chemicals. We should take warning labels off of chemicals because if people are too stupid to understand that,
Yeah, like fire extinguishers. How they do with fire extinguishers, it's the same thing,
right,
isn't it?
right, it's basically CO2.
Colours,
It,
yeah.
it's carbon dioxide.
Well,
You
you do
know,
have electrical like foam, powder.
right? A
Then you
triple
get
F foam.
well, when you look at it, two of the fire extinguishers. I think it's one out of the fire extinguishers is irrelevant compared to the other three because the other three will cover more or less everything: fabric, oil, electrical, and gas. Right. The other one's just for water, and you don't put that on
Right.
anything like electrical, do you? It's just fabric and
I mean,
cardboard.
right. And it's like there's also a fire extinguisher that is for metal fires. You know, that smothers that
Well,
chokes the oxygen out of it.
have you not seen the new invention that they just brought out recently? It's awesome. You get a
Right.
ball. It's like a ball that you carry, and it's got chemical in it, and you can throw it at a car or like a burning dustbin or something, and you can throw it, and it'll just put it out instantly. It'll just explode and just put it out. It's
Right.
thrown at a distance. But you can get big ones and small ones, apparently.
Right. But it's like for that principles, like that's a good principle to have. That's it quickly
Yeah,
extinguishes the fire.
yeah.
But for me, it's like it's along the lines of why is everybody so stupid? You know?
Because they're not taught. They're not taught to think, are they? They're not taught to reason out and think.
And you know what? The funny thing about it, which that actually brings me to another subject. Did you know that that certain countries are dead last in education?
Yeah, England's not at the top.
Right.
I'll say that.
Well, like America's not is not is pretty bad too. Now, what I think we could do to remedy the problem is start teaching little bits of college education, math and science, not this here brainwashed woke crap, but little bits of science and math and technology in schools. That would basically that would be more helpful because people that would make the high school diploma worth more and make
You
the
see,
college
for you and me, that makes sense, right? But
right.
you go, that's not the elite or the deep state or the United Nations objective. The
And this is
objective is to keep you dumb, to keep you
right.
dumb. That's why they don't teach you about, right, for instance, I'll give you an example. If you're in school, they only teach you physical education, which is just physical sex.
They
They don't
teach you to
teach
be,
you
they teach you to
emotional side.
work in a cubicle. They teach you to
Yeah, but
work
they
in a
don't.
factory. They teach you to work in a cubicle.
Yeah, but when it comes to sex, they don't teach you which a man had to pick the right woman and a woman had to pick the right man, i.e., personalities, alpha, sigma, beta, because a woman has an alpha, sigma, beta traits too, just like a male does when you research it properly, right? So
Right.
you can get an alpha woman, you can get a red pill woman, you can get even a mid-tone woman who just doesn't want to get involved with men at all, and is not lesbian either. Seriously, I did the research in my mind when I researched it properly, right? So when
And
people understand that people have got different personalities, you see what I'm saying? Then your mind starts open to think, well, hang on, maybe I got it a little bit wrong here. Maybe I'm not really thinking deep enough.
see the elites, yeah, basically they want you smart enough to run and fix the like in the words of George
Only that,
Carlin.
yes,
In the
yes,
words of
only
George
that.
Carlin, which is the original black pill, which is the original black pill, not none of this lookism, money, looks, and status crap. The original black pill. He said, and I quote: they don't want you smart. They want you dumb, smart enough to run the equipment, dumb enough not to question. Now I want to do a caveat on that. They want you smart enough to run and fix the equipment, smart enough not to question.
Yeah, but it's in everything. You open
Dumb.
your eyes, man. It's in everything. Now you look at the Hamish. They only teach the children up to sixth grade and no more. You know why? Because then they can't comprehend and question, right? It's the same as Jehovah's Witnesses. They'll tell you only so far, but therefore they try and get you to go into service at the age of teenager, so therefore you can't go and get a proper education. And when you leave and do leave and done your service, you're not qualified at anything. You see what I'm
Right?
saying? Everything you do is the same. When you look at it, when you see it plainly, when your blinkers are really off. See what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
It's the same. It's the same as when you're born. They register your name. They make money off you. So later on, they can tax you. They make money on your engagement, impressing a girl when you're a teenager, then finding a girl, engagement, then your wedding, then divorce, then your child maintenance alimony, and then your fucking your settlement at the end if you've got any assets. And then if you're lucky and the children are old enough and they're 18, they're left home and you're divorced, you might get away with a little bit of alimony and fucking, have enough to save up yourself if you work on your own and keep yourself separate from all women to have a little nest egg at the end. You know what I mean?
Right. Now the thing is like like I said, what are they going to do when you don't have children and you don't get married? Are they going to
Well,
try?
there's two flips to it, isn't there? There's advantage and disadvantage to being single. I won't let anyone criticize you for being single. Don't let anyone tell you any different.
Right.
There's
And
nothing
it's
wrong,
like, I
right?
mean,
At the end of the day,
eventually it's
it's
going to come to a point where they've got to do something.
well, no, because the only thing that it's going to backtrack for you later on is you won't have experience about children. You won't have experience about marriage. So in a way, you're safeguarding yourself, but in a way, it'll kind of like stump you from gaining experience. No, I'm not saying people should get involved with women, because I understand now that if I didn't get involved with women, I wouldn't have had my son, and I wouldn't be able to experience as what I am now.
Right. What
So
I'm
in a way,
saying, well, that's it.
I'm
And what
glad
it's going to backfire. It's going to backfire. It's right now what it is. What MGTOW and Ripples is backfiring. You know, it's backfiring because
well,
they
it's what
didn't
I'm
expect.
saying. Mr. Elite didn't understand the difference, right? Me and our boss agree wholeheartedly. Me and our boss that red pill is someone who still has to go back and at least get some, kind of like I don't know, emotional connection to keep themselves sane, if you know what
Now
I
the
mean.
thing.
Uh,
Now I don't. Now I've seen what. Now I've seen. I'm not just a visual and a hands-on person. I am a vicarious learner. I learn from other people's mistakes,
yeah, that's good.
and I've learned from
That's hard.
friends of mine.
Very rare. That's
I've
very
learned from,
rare. That I know it.
I've learned from friends of mine mistakes that it's not smart to get married. It's not smart to date. Now, I have a cousin that's dating an older woman. You know what he's been through?
Go on.
He basically almost lost his license to own and carry a firearm. He's been shot in the arm with a BB gun, almost run over, and is like
Right.
literally
Let's take your instance and let's take his instance, right? The
right,
difference between him is you can learn from people's mistakes, right? So you can comprehend, you have good discernment, you're apprehensive about stuff, so therefore you'll look and watch for a little while, right? The difference is him, he's totally the opposite. He doesn't have no discernment, he has no comprehension about consequences. He just got involved and hope for the best, and that's what most men do. They just
right.
think, oh, women can't do that. Women can't do that. Yeah, of course they fucking can.
Yes, they
Just like
can.
government do it, like feminists do it, like most of companies do it.
Right. And like I know this, and I've seen it, and I've seen it, and I know well enough not to get involved with it. And it's like I got another friend of mine. He's not. I mean,
It shows
I've
you
known him.
mature. It shows you
Right.
mature, man, because you see beforehand. Well, if they're going to go through that shit, why should I? I'm
Right.
just glad where I am now.
Right. And it's like they makes it. You've been holding out for the longest for I don't know what reason. You're the last person of our age group not to have been married or have had kids. And you know what? I'm the one of the last person of my age group of friends who has not been divorced.
Yeah, that shows you're the wisest of the bunch, then, doesn't it?
Right. It's like, so what does that
Right.
tell you?
Care what anybody else thinks. Don't care what people think about you being single. Then you don't
Yeah, I
care.
know.
You're
I
I,
laugh at them. I laugh at them. I, and
look. It seems to me, man, that you're quite confident and quite happy in your own skin. So what's the
right.
problem? There is no.
There
You ain't
should
got the
be.
problem.
Now the
Not
problem is
you.
that the only thing I keep telling. I mean, did the ones that are I keep telling. If you were to watch my channel, I would literally tell people who have been turned down since high school and stuff, and are still virgin. I would tell them to keep their virginity. They're not missing anything. Keep your virginity. Okay, like I said, you got to take pride in your virginity. You
You
know.
see that keeping your virginity is like, and I'm going to tell you the truth now. That is like the rarest honey for a woman. A rarest honey that you can never come across ever. To
Right.
take a virgin, one woman's priority to take a virgin if she can, right? Seriously, right?
Right.
Because they run away from manipulation. But
I
like you're different because you can see it, the manipulation for what it is. That's different. That's where you're more mature than some other guys because you see beforehand what will happen. So that even
and
though you're like the rare honey, even though you're like the rare honey that can never be touched, really it can't be touched because you're really on the highest branch in a way. So take some fucking pride in it, man. You're on the
right.
highest branch.
I mean, I keep telling people I wish I'd have kept my virginity. You know. If I'd have kept it, I would be better off, you know?
Oh, so you're not a virgin?
I'm not a virgin. I wish I'd have kept my virginity. That's why I keep telling these, yeah, I keep
Come
telling
down.
these cats, I keep telling these
Hey,
cats,
you're not a
I'm not
virgin,
a
man. So you're
virgin.
not.
Take it,
No, so
yeah,
down a couple
no,
of branches.
yeah. I mean, I keep saying it's like, take it from somebody who lost their virginity. Keep yours.
I'm only talking about one or two branches have come down. I'm not talking very far.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've come
You
down
know,
very far.
guys, you still not got kids, but you still, if you're a virgin and you still get involved with girls, you'd be at the top of the branch in a way because you would show remarkable abilities to understand situations, learn from other people's mistakes, comprehend that it could happen to you, adjust your ways of thinking so you didn't get involved in that particular scenario ever because you've seen it from your mates or whatever. But because you were not a virgin, it only brings you down one or two branches, man. It doesn't bring you that many branches down. In fact,
Right. I mean, I would say, but I can at least give somebody else encouragement to keep theirs so that they can remain at top. That is what we need. That's what we need to do as men. We need to be able to encourage each other to stay on that higher branch.
well, that's one thing you have got then, isn't it? To
Right.
convince people to stay. That's one thing you've got then, haven't you?
Right.
See,
I mean,
when you analyze stuff, what conclusions you can come to.
it's like we. I mean, I've been told that I overanalyze stuff. To me, I think I analyze it either just right or not enough. It's
That's your
better.
point about and going MGTOW because you learn from any mistakes, whether someone else has been through it or you've been through it yourself. You learn from it.
Right.
You see it. You see it. You think, hang on, I'm not going to go through that, or shit, I don't want to go through that again. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Or I don't want to go through that ever. I mean,
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
I have dated. I have dated a few times. It's like they've all every. Let's see. For the first one taught me. I mean, well, basically, when you're younger, you're right. When you're younger, you think differently. The first one taught me that women can be multiple can have multiple boyfriends. You would never know until the last day you see her. The second
Yep, yep.
one, yeah, the second one taught me that no matter what, the person who took them cookies the first are going to have her main priority on her brain, and her children are first before you. Her children are before you. The third one taught me how unnecessarily clingy they can be. The fourth one taught me that they
Thing.
could that they could have issues.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
But when you said about the children bit, right?
mm-hmm,
People don't understand that without you impregnating her, she won't be prioritizing them kids because the kids won't be fucking born. So
right,
her not giving you any attention would be wrong because you're thinking, hang on, without me contributing my sperm and getting you pregnant, you won't be prioritizing them kids because you won't fucking have them. So where's
right,
my fucking respect here? Because I had to give you that fucking sperm. And don't
right,
fucking say men are important because without women having men's sperm, right, there'd be no fucking babies in the world. So
right.
they're not all the only ones that gateway to the fucking birth fucking shit argument. Men are the gateways too, because men can say no and walk away. So they'd be up shit creek then, wouldn't they?
Yeah. If more men figured that out, they'd be SOL and JWF. Shit out of luck and jolly well fucked.
No, they
Yeah.
have to come and bring to the table then, won't they?
Basically, where men make the mistake is they don't go to a big enough negotiate. They go to the small negotiating tables. Now, there's a thing. See, women know that they are not the table, but they present themselves as the table because the table
That,
is not big enough. The table is not big enough for them to see past this woman. So all they have to do, what it is a small table, is a short small table that is just hidden
so what
behind or underneath her.
is so what you're saying is she's staying across at the table with you, holding her cards, bluffing, trying to make it like she's got a great hand when she's
Yes,
got a shit hand, and you've got
yes,
the better hand. And you know you've got the better hand, and she's trying to still fucking bluff you, and you're thinking, what's the fucking point in this? She's just playing a
right.
fucking game. Point.
Yes, they know they have. They know that they're not the table. They
Exactly.
they just all they did was they found a small table, just enough to
They're good at
look like they're the table,
bluffing.
and
They're good at
right,
bluffing.
they're bluffing. So what they want you to do is lay down your resources on top of them, that so they can walk off. Now the thing is like you never lay your resources on somebody that can get up and walk away, on a creature that can get up and walk away. I would never hand my dog my wallet. Why would I put my resources on top of a lady?
I don't
Would
go out
you?
on dates. I don't go out anymore. I stay in most of the time, watch videos, watch YouTube, watch most of the MGTOW community. Get red pill daily, a lot daily. It doesn't bother me being on my own. It doesn't bother me about not hanging out really bother. I do projects and stuff, so keep myself busy. But for me, I'm happy, man. I've never been as happy in my whole life, and I can't explain to people how happy I am, how satisfied I feel,
Right,
not having
like the-
problems. But I've had my child and I've been married twice, and I've had a long-term relationship, so I've been there and done it. So that's why I'm satisfied, because I've been there and done it. So
I'm
I
pretty
don't know how.
like it. I'm pretty content with my life, because
Yeah,
it's like I've
cross
got
your
a
mind
dog.
though. Cross your mind though.
Yeah,
Does
it's
it?
like
Does
I've
it?
got a dog. I've got good companionship, and it's like the dog serves as a companion. It also, in some
Yeah.
cases, can serve as a deterrent. Now, a dog can actually be a companion and can be a deterrent. It could also be a, what's the word I'm looking for?
Do you know what's good at having a dog? I'll tell you what's good at having a dog. They know if any of your friends are false, because they won't like
Right,
them.
right. Like I've like I said, I mean, the dog it can be a deterrent, because I will literally, if I see a chick walking down the street, I will cross the street by myself. But if there's a little place where I can cut in, I will cut in that way, wait for her to pass, and the dog will basically keep her the dog, because of the breed of the dog, will keep her at a distance. You know?
You mean to get the shit out of her so she keeps a distance?
Yeah, yeah. And being that I have a very active breed, and the dog can jump. Let's just say that, pretty high. And it's
Right.
like,
Okay.
being that I have a
Boxer.
very I have an
Yeah.
active breed. He's a pit bull border collie mix, because the pit
All
bull
right.
shows. Because the pit bull in them shows, the dog keeps them at bay.
Right. I like Staffordshire Bull Terriers.
Oh, those are freaking huge. I don't know. I
No,
don't know how. Like I said, I don't know
they're
how
really
well he.
no Staffordshires. They're really no. You're talking about American Pit Bulls. No, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about Staffordshire Bull Terrier. So it's a Staffordshire mixed with an English Bull, but Staffs are better, really. But they're really good with kids. They're really soft in kids. They really protect kids naturally. It's weird.
Well, I know, but I mean, yeah, pit bulls are the same way. But the problem
Yeah.
is, my dog is more likely to go bowling because he's so hyper.
Yeah.
He's more or less likely to go bowling with like literally full speed takeoff sprint, and yeah, kid was one of my
What do you do
one of
for
my
recreation, man? What do you do for recreation?
I got video games. I take my dog out for a walk.
Yeah.
Porn.
Hey, I'm not ashamed to say it. I do it from time to time. I don't give a shit. But
Yep,
why should
and
you pay
right.
thousands of fucking dollars just for them to manipulate your fucking biology when you can just spank one off
When
your
all
fucking.
yeah, and when all I gotta do is just pay my phone bill and get on the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like once I get a house. I mean, I don't plan on getting a house with a small yard. I plan on getting a house with a decent sized yard. And once I get that, I'm probably gonna build me a blacksmithing forge for when I'm at home.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Now, this is good because you're telling people now about goals that you want to reach. That's good because basically you've got to reach that certain point. You've got to reach little milestones to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? So save up money, do this, do that. You know what I mean? And then get to that point. That's what I tried to do with Big Nose. Tried telling Big Nose that. Stages, man, stages. Don't expect to just see the tunnel at the fucking end and that's it. You get there. You've got to get there first. You got to walk the way and do the walk and do the talk. Don't just do one thing and then fucking act like a dick another. But he just won't listen. You see, you get it. See what I'm saying? You
Right.
get it. You know steps to get to a big goal. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me. I gotta check some. I think I got hours back now. I could
Yeah,
start driving.
dropped out. One of the lads dropped in and out. I forgot who it was. He has
Oh,
a
that was
kind of.
Baron Yam. Baron Yam. Hey, welcome, Baron Yam.
What's up, evening, gent? What y'all talking about? What y'all talking about?
Well, we're just talking about random stuff. Like I said,
You have 8 hours and 0 minutes
oh,
of remaining
nice.
drive time.
Like we're
He's
just
got
talking about like setting goals and stuff like that. Like I said, I could go
Yeah,
right now.
that's what I'm saying. You got it. You got it though, didn't you, man?
Yeah,
Mix all the
that's
way.
it.
You got it. Some people don't get that about setting goals. People just want the goals there and then instead of just working towards them, achieving step by step. Because if you've got a massive goal, there's probably 5 steps or 6 steps in between to achieve it. Save up money, invest that money, see a return on that money. That's the main object, isn't it? At the end.
Right.
Right.
And it's like the blacksmithing forge for me. It would mean that not only do I have a, not only am I
That's what
using my, I have a primary source of income. I also have a secondary source of income when things go sour, and also
Good.
have a hobby for home.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it's a teachable. You can teach somebody else to how to do it.
Right. And they
Is,
can, and
hey,
Grow it.
is your picture chicken or is it quay? Is it corn on the cob?
It's sweet potato skewer because I'm skewering
Oh,
my
right.
mind with red pill information. Yeah.
like I said, that's why
Yeah.
that's why I tell him to cultivate his roots in nutrient rich soil.
Yeah, it can be hard sometimes. Like
Yeah.
you get malaise and it feels
keep plenty of
feels like you
sunlight on it. Get plenty of ample sunlight.
Yeah, I would go good. It was a good conversation Wind and I were having earlier, but
Yeah.
sometimes it feels hard to like
Why?
act
What
when
were
you're
you
like,
talking about before?
Yeah, we were talking about the red pill malaise, where for some people where it's different for a lot of people. Like people say want to stay the rage. Some people would like I said. I mean, for me, I don't like stupid. You know.
Do you know what the red pill rage is really? When someone tells you the truth and you can't accept it,
Right.
even though you know it's the truth. So give Mr. Elite as an example. He knows he's fucked up, but he can't accept that he fucked up. And that's where the rage came in, because he knew what people were saying was right, but he couldn't accept it. Same with Big Nose. He did the same thing. You know what I'm saying? That's what the red pill rage is. That's why I think people go into a rage like women do, because when you tell them the truth, the women, they go into a rage because they can't accept it. It's just red pill.
Well, we're not talking about the rage portion. We're talking about the kind of a like if you see something, like when you see something,
It's like the lowest. It's like the easiest form of like the suffering part of the red pills, like the malaise part, where you just feel like you don't let yourself get comfortable because you've seen so much and you're just thinking about it.
And then
if you say like laugh at if you like laugh at something stupid that you see on Facebook, and then you catch yourself, you're like, hey, you're like, why are you enjoying this so much? Is the way that I put it.
This is happening, right? And it's like you're enjoying it because, I mean, if you listen, for me, I'm more likely to say you big dummy, something to that nature.
You see, you'll understand that when you go from red pill to MGTOW, because a lot of people don't understand MGTOW and red pill are separate, right? MGTOW, where you totally go your own way from sight and everything, right? So once you realise that it doesn't matter if you date a girl or not, it's always going to be disfavoured to you. It's always going to be against you, really, right? It doesn't matter. So then you realise, well, there's no point. And that's when you go proper MGTOW monk, because you realise it's a disadvantage whatever you do and wherever you go, whatever you try and date a girl, it's going to be a disadvantage. If you even fucking talk to a girl, you can be accused of something. So when you realise that, then the penny drops, and you think, well, there's no point now. There's no point. I might as well just do my own thing, do my own hobbies, make myself better. And then you start realizing, well, there's no point talking about girls anymore, because that's what I still do a few contents on women now and again, but the majority of it is about projects, this, that, and the other, because I want to show people it's not just about women. Leave them to it. At the end of it, leave them to it, because they're going to always do everything to try and bring us down anywhere. They're going to try and control the narrative. They're going to try and get in men's spaces all the time. Doesn't matter what we say and what we do. The fact is, they're going to try and disprove it. Let's just lead by example. Lead by example and just get on with it, and fuck them. Who cares?
And it's like, the thing is like, most people don't get it, and those are the people that end up getting shafted yet again by the same person that by the same very people that they strove to get away from.
Yeah,
true.
So basically, it turns into the band plays on, and the band played on.
Right, this is what I'm saying about responsibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
Men need to understand, right, that when you got to a certain stage and you're an example, then you have to lead by example, and you have to accept the responsibility for your actions. Just like we're saying to the feminists, look, if you want responsibility with high-paid jobs, this, that, and the other, then take the decision and take the responsibility after, right? Because that's what we're saying to women. Your actions have consequences. Accept them. And yet certain people are not doing that. They're not accepting responsibility. That's what makes you an adult. By accepting, I fucked up, whatever, or I did something stupid, or I got into this mess and I should have done. At the end of the day, admit you're wrong. Don't try and criticize other people because the book lies with you for doing it. This is why I say about being truthful all the time.
Admit to it and own it.
And that's the reason why I try to conduct myself the way I do. Even though I don't show my face, I try to conduct myself in as much of a professional manner, like if I was showing my face, Hey, is your camera's on, Sigma? You know that, right?
The camera's on, yeah. I know.
Okay. But I was like, that's why that whenever I make content, I try to conduct it as if I were to be showing, if I were to show my face, you know,
Right.
so that
I don't know what people are worried about this showing the face or not. I don't
now
get it.
I'm in
Some
the military.
people don't. Who cares?
See, I'm in the military. Now, some of the topics that I talk about, like I said, if they really wanted to, if I were to show my
Yeah.
face, they could really screw my life up. They could really harass my command, and I'm like 9 years away from retire.
You think then it's unreasonable for people to ask you to show your face? I think it's unreasonable for people to do that. Then
I mean, they don't want to sub to me because I don't show my face. It's their decision.
No, it doesn't matter. But you know full well that your career could be ruined. I think that's logical.
Yeah,
I think it's unreasonable to ask people to show your face if you know it's a big risk. Now, if it came across in the future, and is this an example? I'm not saying you're going to do this, right? But say in the future it came out that you weren't really in the army and someone found out who you were and you weren't really in the army and you lied, then really it was all a deception. See what I'm saying? People don't understand about consequences in the future. No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah. And they don't understand like human psychology.
Because the way you talk, logical.
Tactical. Like I talk in a sense of
live long.
Yeah, live long and prosper. May Mr. Spock rest in peace.
He thought logical. He thought logical.
Right, but for me, it's like, look, I try to conduct myself in a way that, because eventually, later on down the line, I may be able to show my face, like, because I'll have some sort of residual income.
There's one little bit of advice I'll give people that is a little bit of hope for people. The older you get, right? So in your 20s, you'll think a certain way. In 30s, you'll think a certain way. In your 40s, you'll think totally different. And the older you get, the more mature you get, you start realizing there's more important things than just, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And you are getting to a stage now. You're getting to a stage where your mind's maturing now. And I can tell the way you're talking that you're mature in your head. You think you're logical, like Vulcan. You know what I mean? You read some things out. You know what I'm saying? And that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I kind of latch on to things really quickly.
A long way for you, man. I'm telling you.
Now, did you see it in my earlier content when I first came in, before it was taken down?
No, I didn't.
I was literally wild back then. I remember, like I said, I was literally wild back then. About a year ago, when that thought chop cap happened, I remember that.
The thought chop era.
Yeah, the thought chop era. The get your ass out of here era. I remember that. Yeah.
Right. And can I ask you one thing? I told my brother thought was like a feminist, a thought. Now, I didn't know exactly what the actual acronym meant. Thought. What does that mean? THOT. Thought.
That hoe over there.
Oh, that whore over there. Right. Okay.
Yeah. It's like I remember, like I said, the thought chop era. Hey, Yam, you remember seeing the thought chop era?
I'm old.
Vaguely. I was more into like Barbarossa. I was more into like Barbarossa and Thinking Ape or Stardust, and I was not so much into the thought chop era.
Right. That's basically the only people who weren't aware of the thought chop era are the ones that listen to Barbarossa, the people who literally.
Barbarossa, thank you very much. No, Barbarella, I watched.
Barbarossa. Yeah.
No, I don't watch her.
Like I said, he was Barbarossa, Brolo Tomasi, Thinking Ape.
You were talking about content creators. All right, I thought you were talking about films.
No. We're talking about content creators like Barbarossa. Roland
I got it.
Kamasi, freaking a few others,
Oh,
you know.
shit.
But it's like those are the only people that didn't know about the Thought Chopper, the ones that watched their content. And I mean, I don't know if you heard of Grizzly Rising. You ever heard of them? You heard of him?
Is that a band or a content
No,
creator?
that's a content creator.
Grizzly Rising.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm 46, man. I'm an old man. I'm 46.
Hey,
Wow.
but Grizzly Rising,
I'm not.
he said something about MGTOW being clowns, and for the most part, for a good part, we were clowns.
Yeah.
Well, you
We
kind of have
were
to be a
clowns.
clown to stand out. Like if you think about it, the landscape of men is like basically like Disneyland. I'm not blaming indoctrination, but like if you think about it, you have to be the clown. You have to stand out. You have to be controversial.
Yeah, to be light. So people.
Exactly.
Right.
And you have to go. You have to go above and beyond and perform.
That seems like a lot of energy. That seems like to me like a lot of unnecessary energy to be expended because it does get old and
Chris
tired.
Farley.
It is a lot.
Look at Chris Farley, right? Chris Farley died young. You know why? Because he was that hyperactive that his flame burned bright and he died young. And this is what I'm saying, people don't understand. If you go out partying and you keep hammering into 30s, going into your 40s, and you don't span it out and equal it out properly instead of just keep hammering it, your flame will burn bright, but you'll die young. And this is about when you get older, you start realizing about slowing down. So your flame keeps burning, your soul keeps burning, but at a reasonable optimal level where you don't kill yourself early. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't feel that I need to die prematurely, you know, because it's like.
Well, therefore, you're realizing you're candling your flame down slightly. You're bringing your flame down, so therefore you last longer. If you know what I mean.
It's like a lot of these high-speed content creators, they're literally burning themselves out. I mean, me, like I said, when I upload whenever I darn well feel like it, you know?
Yeah, or when you need to.
Or when I need to, absolutely need to.
Yeah.
If I don't need to upload, I'll upload when I feel like it.
Yeah.
True. I mean, we have.
I try and leave it once a
week.
week.
Conglomerate putting out a lot of content lately because it's oversaturated too. Because it went back when there was no content, all those good stuff stood out more, and all the negative stuff was kind of just like
it's regurgitated. It's regurgitated over and over and over again, and there's plenty of channels out there that say the same thing.
I mean,
Correct.
It is regurgitated, and that's part of the reason why I think why there's an adpocalypse. You know, I think that there's part of the reason why I think that there's so many adpocalypses because the content is out there, and it's like one person's making this content, another person's making this content over and over, and it's like.
Yeah, but it's not getting to the nitty gritty, the adult talk, the real nitty gritty. I mean, getting to know about psychology and how to learn body language. Now, I know how to teach people body language. I learned it the hard way, but I can teach people how to do body language. That's things I can contribute. It's just people too busy. Go on.
I don't have the desire to learn, nor the give a fuck to try to want to, you know.
Yeah.
To learn body language.
Like I said, what is body language got?
Well, the coppers use it. Coppers learn body language, right? That's how I found out because I got arrested and I was in the cells. I was in the cells for 3 days, and I got given a book how to read body language. And I read it. And then
I'm not like it. I'm not a copper. I have no need for it. I don't feel that I have need.
I know. I'm not saying I was a copper. I said I got pulled in for 3 days, right? And the copper came to the door and asked me if I wanted something to read. And he gave me a Reader's Digest. And on the front, it said how to read body language. That benefited me now. Because what I read got me. I didn't do the wrong. The person who did wrong was in France, and they had to extradite him, right?
Right.
So anyway, I read it, and the pages that I wanted, I folded the pages over and put it under the pillow for the next person because I didn't want to go through what I went through. Anyway, right. I got let off eventually, but realised that what I learned for what I read benefit me now because I can see now how people act because that's what the police learn, body language, to see if you're lying. It's important. It's important. Yep. Really right. Important.
It's one of the most important things you'll learn, including like all forms of communication are some of the like essentials that
your body gives out more signals out, man. Your body gives more signals out than what your voice does.
And then what we're told, we're only told that if you as long as you can say the right thing, you'll be fine. No, but it's about your it's about your confidence and your level and your knowledge and understanding.
Right. Okay. Me Too on the Win. Take that label off, and I'm going to show you what I learned when I was being interviewed, twice a day for 3 days. Right. And they said convicts do this, where you just cross your legs like that. Professionals do this, where they cross the legs over. Right. Let me just show you. And this is what I learned, man. Right. I couldn't believe it. Right, when I learned this, right? So this fucking camera's shit. There we go. So professionals do that, right? And they put the hands here for a reason. Because they're not fiddling with the mouth, that means you know something. If you're holding your ears, it means you're keeping something behind. If you're tapping your feet really fast, they know you're nervous. If you're fidgeting all the time, they know you're acting.
Arms crossed.
Yeah, arms crossed means defensive. Or you're hugging yourself. It's called the hugging position. So when you learn body language, it's really important.
There's like you could tell. There's like a tell for like you're trying to cover.
Even with the way you look.
Yeah.
Even when you look, if you're looking to the left, you're lying. If you're looking to the right, you're telling the truth. That's what they look for, and that's why you have a good policeman and a bad policeman, because one's watching while one's giving you a hard time, and then no one comes in. Oh, we're just trying to help you. All this, that, and the other. Fuck off. You know what I mean? If you understand, I only understood that after I read about body language. If I hadn't read that, I could have been looking at 25 years and I didn't do anything wrong. The guy was in France and he got pulled back, right? And he got convicted 12 years he got, minimum, right? And he admitted to it after, right? But if I hadn't read that at the right time, I wouldn't have been let go. Plus, I wouldn't have learned now how to read other people. See what I'm saying about your past, learning from your past. Search your past and think, is there anything in there that could be useful now? That's taking the bad
so long.
The good from the bad.
Like nostalgia.
It doesn't take so long.
Nostalgia is one of those things where it's like you don't feel nostalgia when you first receive something. It's like after repeated stimuli. So it's like there's certain things you're going to encounter multiple times in life, and you're going to have learned from your mistakes that you made.
It depends if the mistake's the same mistake on the same scenario with women. That's what I'm saying. There's a difference. If you make different mistakes on different things, certain people click onto that. They'll hurt them. They'll get hurt the first time and realize if they get hurt the second and third time because they got help the first time, that people are going to fall for it. Or if they keep getting involved with women all the time, why are they not learning from it? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Why don't they?
When they enjoy
it's kind of like codependent. It's kind of like codependency. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
They're enjoying the insanity.
It's on the farm. Well, it's a form of narcissism because they need that stimulation, don't they, to keep the drama going. You know.
Right. That is insanity. That is the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again. And
why do you think feminism keeps going at us? Why do you think feminists keeps going at us as MGTOW? You know why? Because the attention's not on them anymore. Or the government, because when you go real MGTOW, you know where the problem is, the government. So then you separate yourself from the government too. So why would you buy sex dolls? Because the money's going back into paying for it, and that money they pay their taxes with. So that goes back into the system. When you actually realize what's going on,
they're being
yourself.
used as human doings.
Yeah,
for
the biology.
Yeah.
For the biology. Just like prostitutes prostitutes do the same thing. They manipulate biology to make money out of you.
Now, there's a question I need to ask. Like,
Eyes
why buy
open.
sex dolls when you can develop? Why buy the sex dolls when you can develop them? You know,
I've got no qualms with people having sex dolls. It's just the red pill, not MGTOW. MGTOW understand that you go monk because you understand
if you develop and sell them, if you develop or if you develop, build,
I won't do that.
Them.
I won't do that. But it's up to people what they do.
Right.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. What I'm trying to say is that for me, I see it as for me because I'm so open-minded. I won't see the sense in even if someone did make one and develop one and made a line of them, like most people are doing now, right, with sex dolls. I wouldn't do it because for me, I won't put another fellow man through that to manipulate him through his biology to make money out of him. I see that as going against MGTOW totally because I know that. As a MGTOW man and a monk, I know that buying a sex doll is manipulating my biology to pay thousands of dollars for somebody else, and then I have to have an upgrade every so often, so they're making even more money. And I'm thinking, no, why? Just to get my rocks off, I can just use my fucking hand. Why?
Right.
I'm not a fucking ashamed to say it. Fuck.
Now, but on that note, I want to say this. My dad, this is some words of wisdom passed down to me from my dad. You got a right hand, you got a left hand.
Yeah.
And what is this about a sex expert? Like last time I checked, everybody pretty much has the same parts, and they all do pretty much the same thing, like with few exceptions. And I mean, like this whole entire blown up.
The only thing that sex dolls don't do is walk at the moment.
Not yet. I mean,
once AI, hang on, AI, right?
Yeah, even
who's he called? Who's he called? The one that's developing it. He's speaking against it. Oh, what's he called? I think you mentioned it. Arpos mentioned him. Oh, what's he called? He put them satellites out, and he put that Elon Musk. He said about AI, right? AI is speaking against it, but yet he put, while the shutdown was on, the lockdown, he put thousands and thousands of little miniature satellites up for 5G. So he's not really disagreeing against it, right? And even he said that when our AI becomes self-aware, God help us when it becomes self-aware. And they reckon it might become self-aware in 2028, 2029 to 30, roughly. Right, that's what they reckon. So imagine you're being ridden by a woman that's already connected to AI, it just doesn't walk, and eventually they will make them walk, it just won't be able to harm you. What if the AI gets so smart, like fucking Terminator, and it's riding you, and then it decides either to ride your dick off or burn it off by riding you to death?
One of the things that
or snap it off.
Yeah. I'm a dead man.
Yeah, that could happen. I mean, it could happen if you.
Hey, at least you can say you smell rubber.
Dead by a woman, or dead by a sex doll.
Well,
you pick your poison.
At least you can say you smell rubber, though, won't you?
Right. Hey, look, the only thing I can do in that kid situation is ask her to throw some barbecue sauce on me. You know.
Well, the problem is that's not a solution to the problem. I mean, like what the real problem is just what like the
governments. The governments. That's where the problem comes from. The governments.
Like I said, the problem is like the problem's not the problem's not going to be solved ever.
Exactly. That wouldn't solve the problem. It would, like you were describing, it would make things worse. Definitely would.
No, I'm not talking about doing anything bad. I'm not talking anything bad.
Me personally, I'm more along the lines of, and this is what pretty much describes me as a person. Like it's not only my active duty Marine Corps career, but what worked. Now, if I'm in a hole and I'm digging, most people would stop digging. No, I keep digging to make it to and I dig faster. Why? because if you dig faster and you get so deep, they're not. It will literally confuse the hell out of them to the point where they don't know whether to scream at you or just laugh at your tenacity. Now, for the most part, it worked when I was active duty military, because if I was in a hole, I dig faster, because I may be going in the wrong direction,
True.
but I'm doing it with conviction.
Yeah, because you're at a fucking fire shop.
Like I said, if I know I screwed up, I'm going to continue down that path.
Right, can I ask you a question, mate, on the way? Now you've been in the military, right? Now you've been in the military and you've come out. Would you, now you know what you know about red pill and about the way our corrupt government are and using women against men and stuff, would you go back and fight back in war again?
Yes.
It would be strange. It would be strange.
You want to know why?
It would, really?
I'm going to tell you why.
It'd be different
because
if it wasn't for
me being in the military, if it wasn't for me being in the military, I would have never saw the things that I saw in life. I would have never saw that Marine who I would never saw that I would never saw the
can I ask one thing? Can I ask one? If it weren't for the government being corrupt, you wouldn't have seen them things, because when they went to Iraq, it was all corrupt. Right. So if the governments hadn't been corrupt and always been getting power and then coming out of power and new one coming in and corrupting even more and stuff like that, you wouldn't have seen the things you would have seen. So therefore, right, you owe your experiences down to corrupt governments. Now you know that the corrupt governments exist, and you know that they're not going to see you best interest really at heart, really. Even if you come out of the military, if you went back in again, they won't really see your best interest out when you come back out again. Would you do it again now?
The difference between a career military person and a
person. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna say yes, and I'm gonna tell you why.
No, what I'm saying is because knowing the red pill. Knowing the red pill,
what I'm saying is
they're only using you.
There's a reason.
It's not
there's a reason why I say yes.
Cannon fodder. Yeah.
No, there's a reason. To warn other people.
What?
To warn other people. Because if I'm in and I know what's going on, I know when to tell people to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Right. Yeah,
like I said, I already have the knowledge. It's like I said, I'm already dead. I have been dead from birth. Like I said, if you didn't know that I am a black man in America, I'm already dead. I've been dead from birth. From the time I was conceived, I was already dead.
What makes you think that?
My father was dead. My mother was dead. I'm dead.
Why?
My whole family was. Why was that? Because where I see it.
Are you talking about slave labor now?
No, it's not even that. It's not even that. It's not even that, because that's 100 years.
I'm just trying, guys. I'm not criticizing. I'm just trying to.
No, that's hundreds of years ago. That is hundreds of years ago.
Yeah. So how can you guys be dead then? Because at the end of the day, you're living, you're breathing. So how can you be dead?
Culturally, like look at the culture. Like if
times have shifted on, and do you know what I see you as? I don't see you as a black man. I don't see you white, Chinese, or anything. I don't, because I'm not racist. I used to be Jehovah's Witness. I'm not racist.
Right, but that's
this is the problem. This is the problem with MGTOW and Red Pill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Too many people coming in and shouting the Black Lives Matter. What does it fucking matter that if you're black, white, Chinese or not? Chinese fucking lives matter too. What does it matter? The thing is, like, men. You're men. That's the thing. You're men.
Right.
I'm already dead. You're men.
But hear me out on this one. Give me a second here. But it's like I said, basically, my culture was the starting grounds, was the test shots that spread this here child support, this alimony shit to everybody else, for everybody else to get fucked, And my cult, like I said, we literally were the test shots. Now, the reason I say that,
do you know what I get from? Do you know what I'm seeing right now? Do you know what I'm seeing right now? I'm going to be honest with you. Do you know what I'm seeing? Doesn't matter about what happened in your past. The fact is that you're above most of the guys on the tree. You know why? Because, and you're not seeing the benefit, and this is the benefit. You're red pill. You understand about what's going on. You concentrate on the past. Look, yes, that happened. No, listen.
I want to warn other people
did,
for the future.
Look, yeah, that's true. That's important. But what's most important is you're not seeing the benefit of the fact that you're above the tree, even as a black man or a Chinese man, whatever. You're above the tree. You know why? Because you are not seeing the positive, the fact that you discerned beforehand that people make mistakes. You're seeing now that you're mature. You're 30 year old and you're mature in your mind. You're not seeing the positive. You're seeing it as there's still a negative. There's not. You're learning from it because you want the maturity you are in your mind now.
Right.
To speak the way you did before. You know what I'm saying? You're not seeing the positive. I'm trying to help you, man. I'm trying to tell you, you fucking got a good mind on you, man. You got a fucking great mind on you. Don't keep thinking about stuff about you disadvantaged and you're dead, because you're not. Because you wouldn't have got to your stage about being red pilled and understanding about female nature and learning. How can you say that you're worthless then?
If I save one person, like if I could save one person,
you've already saved yourself. You've already saved one person yourself.
I win. I've already. I mean, to me,
you already have one. You already have one. For starters,
I would say like what Wynn's telling me is making sense, but the way I would simplify it is just like you always have to be disciplined no matter what. If you think you're safe or you
well,
think
I'm just a straightforward guy, but I'll never lie to people. And I'll never be pompous about shit. I'll just say it straight. Look, he's got a great mind, me too on the wind, right? He's mature, he's 30-year-old, he's more advanced than some guys I fucking sport to, believe me, right? And I'm really advanced for my age, right? And I understand about certain people have got a normal mind or not. And he seems to have a normal mind. He understands he's more advanced than other guys. And yet he's seeing the past as not being alive. Look where you are, man. You're an independent thinker. Do you not think that's an achievement? Even to get in the fucking leg in the first place of your sperm, it's 1,000,000 to 1 chance. Think about the positives.
I think I might be a little better off than most people in the military.
Oh, you are, but shit, yeah, man. You're not going to problems with women. You're not married. You're not got kids, and you're discerning from other people's mistakes.
Yeah.
You're discerning from people's mistakes beforehand, and so you learn from it, so you don't go through it. So how can you say that you and your dad were dead? You're not. You're alive, really.
Oh. Well, shit. I didn't think of it that way. Shit.
Think about it. I love it, mate. I love it when I understand when somebody is on the right track. But that's what people do. They always concentrate on the past. Yeah, only do one thing to concentrate on the past is to learn from it. You can take the positive of what you learned from your past. Look, you wouldn't have learned about red pill if you didn't think the way you thought before, would you?
Right. But
they wouldn't have led you to red pill eventually. So look how far you've come. Look how far you've come.
Yeah. Like I said, you actually gave me an early birthday present.
That's why I tried to say big nose. Fucking Richard, big nose, right? I tried to say this to him about steps, little steps, achievements. It gives you self-esteem, gives you self-respect. And then it gives you appreciation for the person spotting it out, what you should have been doing, right? So you get a bond there. But no, he just thought he'd just take me for the piss. No, you motherfucker, you used my time. I didn't get nothing out of you, and you got a lot out of me. I didn't give you nothing. I just made sure you didn't string yourself up and try to point you in the right direction. Get your fines paid off. Get a job. Do this, do that. Get some self-worth back.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Actually, I'm almost.
I'm not saying no. I'm not saying you. I'm saying Richard.
Yeah, everybody.
Not you.
Everybody needs to do that. Like
everybody should do that, but the problem is just like that's thinking way too logically about the situation. You know.
Well, I'm red pill, right? I've been out of work for 4 months. 5 months, right? And I've not let it get to me. You know why? Because I know what's coming in the future. So I'm already preparing.
That's like why I actually comprehend that. And I was like, even though I can't relate to it, it's like that makes a lot of sense to me. And get what you just said ties in brilliantly with that, because it's like you realize that a lot of the things that you might do that benefits you actually are just you're coping with your situation, and that can be worse than what you're avoiding by doing that thing. Like people who work out like very ferociously.
Yeah, do you know what the problem
young,
is? Do you know what the problem is with people? Do you know what the problem is with people? And so when they go through an experience, right? When they go through an experience, right? The first thing they do is they react badly to it, right? So they get battered or whatever, right? Stabbed or shot. So they go through that experience. It was a bad experience. So they're not thinking, right? Or they go through a bad experience with one, they're not thinking. And then straight after, instead of playing the victim, me, if I go through it now, I would think, right, what happened? Why did I get in that situation? What did I learn from it? And what good can I take from it for the future?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I do in order.
Little tiny steps of procession.
Yeah, because you can't get to a big goal.
You kind of have the hyper normalization of radical thinking, like radical thinking and radical.
Vulcan.
Yeah. Are you just saying that about me? Or are you saying that about?
I'm just saying about when your eyes are really, really open to what MGTOW and Red Pill is. When you realise that MGTOW, men going their own way, means to separate yourself from the system, from the government, from women, from feminism, from dickhead guys, from majority of society, because you realise there's no benefit to it to you whatsoever. So what you do is you go into survival mode then. You go into prepping. You go into bettering yourself. You go into more knowledge about what the future might hold because of what people have done in the past regarding the Magna Carta or in 1956 when everything started changing. Yeah,
you begin to speculate and maybe hopefully predict. I mean, I don't know. Excuse me, I can't seem to speak today, but hopefully predict what's going to come down on the pipe.
True.
Well, for instance, I'm gonna give you an example, right?
9 times out of 10 is right too. You're
right. I've got an example to you, right? Right. You know, Arpos has got a house, right? He's got a house. Yeah. So when it comes to the system collapsing, right? He's prepping. Now, he will leave his house and he's not worried to lose it, but he knows the house will be repossessed by the government. He knows that eventually, right? Even if you put your gold or silver abroad in an offshore account, that country could riot and take and raid the bank and take your gold without you even knowing, right? Because in that country, they could riot because they know the economy's collapsed. So what they're going to do, they're going to go for the bank where the gold and silver is, where the real money is, because that's what everything will be paid on then. Gold and silver. So there's a risk of putting your money abroad in gold and silver. That's why I'd rather have it on there. At least you can fight for it, right? But the thing is that what I've done is done 2 months rent on my place, and if I do get it wrong and I go away for a camping trip because I think something might go wrong, at least I can come back. Now our pops can do that, but he's got a window of opportunity. He can still go back to his house if it doesn't go right or wrong, right? He can still go back. So he can still get away with it that way. But he knows that when shit does go to shit, he's lost his house. Now, that's thousands eventually. Eventually, when it does go shit up, he'll lose thousands. Even if he keeps to and fro-ing, eventually, and he gets it wrong, and eventually he hits it right, and the economy goes down, and the world goes to shit, he'll lose his house, thousands. For me, I've only lost a couple of months' rent. That's it. And I've got all my basics. I'm putting everything into my survival kit and my bike and everything. So when I can go, I go. That's it. I can survive.
Right, and as like I've actually been collecting knives and swords since I was 18. You know, and so that's just. I mean, what I showed on the on a live stream is like it's just part of my collection. That's just part of it. That's not the whole thing.
You've got to understand though that the military have bigger weapons, you know that, don't you? So it'd be a bit of a defeated object. You know what I mean?
There's no way in hell. Like I said, there's no way in hell I'd try to take on the military.
Yeah, but it's going to be 2 things in it. When people start fighting back, it can escalate. Then they bring the army in. Then it's going to get worse, or it'll de-escalate, whichever. I don't know. But if it does escalate, then you're talking when they bring the big guns out because people are not going to stand down. Then they bring the big guns out.
Then they bring the big guns
I
out.
think is people
For
are
me,
too
it's like,
selfish not to
if
de-escalate.
I'm not, if like I said, if I'm not in when that happens, when that shit happens, I'm bushwhacking. I'm hitting the trees.
Why do you think I'm going into the countryside? Why do you think I'm going into the countryside?
Yeah, I'm hitting the trees. I'm taking my
Trees.
bag. I'm taking
Well,
my
why
bag.
do you think Agenda 21? Why do you think what they're bringing in Agenda 21? To pretend they're giving all the Indians back. That's what Obama did. He pretended to give the land back to the Indians, but really on paperwork, it was still government property, and pretended to give it back. So they could drive everyone out of the countryside into mega cities, and that's what Agenda 21, that's what I'm going to do on tomorrow night, tell you about Agenda 21 and what the real motives are, because they drive everyone out. So they're saying, oh, it protects animals and people don't burn stuff down and it protects the environment. No, it's to drive everyone to mega cities so they can chip people, bring all the middle class down to sub-level, basic, give everyone the same money and say it's equal opportunities, equal rights. We're all the same.
Communism to me.
It's kind of like what they were already doing, but now they just ramped it up.
Right.
They ramped it up.
Elite stay rich, the elite and rich stay rich, the middle class come down to basic, and then they chip you, and then if you argue, they switch the chip off, and you can't get any money, you can't buy nothing. That's what the main aim is.
I'm not kid, and that's why there's two things. There's some things I don't trust. I don't trust the government.
Yeah, exactly. Too fucking right.
I don't trust the government, even though I work for it.
I'd rather trust a private corporation.
But I am using it to get the things that I need at base, to get the things that I need to get the hell out of Dodge. So
I'll show you something. Look, this is. I mean, I put it on me tongue, but look, I've already got my bag, 55 litre. Look, right, 55 litre, waterproof inside and out. Right, I've got 4 of these, which is basic. It's rice. It's every rice. All right. These need water. So I've got 4 of them. It's 2 servings each. I'm already started packing already, man. Stew and steak. So I've got 3 tins of them. Right. I've got some corned beef. Now, that's the survival kit with the flint in, compass in, blanket in, cutting saw inside, everything.
Have you guys ever seen the movie Moonrise Kingdom?
Why?
Well, it's about this Boy Scout who knows enough about survival and he just escapes, and then everybody's super freaked out. They're like, "Where did he go?" And
nice.
Cotton balls of Vaseline, so you mix them up. You mix them up into balls, and then mix with Vaseline. So even they get wet. Yeah, you can set them alight. So because it's oil based, but even if they get wet, they'll still set a fire because it's waterproof in a way, Vaseline. So you soak the cotton buds in and you put them in balls. So I've got about 20 to 30 in there, 20 to 30 in the other one, right? And I've got a water filter that you can stick in the river, literally, it's like that. 1.5 liters, and it's 5 years. Nice. 5 years, man. 5 years. So you can stick a bottle, like a Coca-Cola bottle, and filter the dirty water from the Coca-Cola bottle through it into another bottle or a cup, and it'll be clean, man. Clean as.
That's actually pretty nice.
And you don't have to be rich either. You don't have to be rich. Right. You don't have to have gold and silver, all the rest of it. This is going back to basics because I understand now that even if you've got gold and silver abroad, it can still be raided by the country. They can still loot, right? And that means they'll go for the bank because they will. They'll go for the bank and shops and all sorts, right? So really, I'm not even thinking of money. That's why I don't ask for subscriptions because I'm preparing. I don't ask for Patreon or anything like that because I know that this is basic, going back to basics.
Right.
What a girl's going to look for? Someone that can feed them. I don't want a girl anyway, even if I'm alone.
I was
I
just
don't want a
gonna,
girl
I was just gonna be
because
like, wait, what?
First off,
too much shit.
GameStop,
Yeah,
bro,
give me.
first off,
Don't want to do nothing.
first off, they've lost
No, what
their
women really want
usefulness.
is a bug out bag.
Yeah,
I got enough
exactly.
shit.
And if
I got
I'm
enough,
with friends,
I got
if
enough
I'm with
shit
friends
bag.
and I'm going into the forest with friends, right? Do you know what I'm going to say? One, are you MGTOW? If you're not, fuck off, because you're going to be a lazy motherfucker. And MGTOW will understand about pulling his weight. And if anyone's here that wants to join, you pull your fucking weight. I don't want to be in charge because I'm a Sigma. I don't lead a follower. But if it needs be, I'll tell you what needs doing and it gets done. And then I can sit back and I don't want to be a leader. Everyone be themselves. You know, I'm not an alpha. I'm a Sigma. I don't lead a follower.
As
So
I
for
said,
me, I either have to.
as I said in one of my previous videos, human beings were not meant to lead other human beings.
Exactly.
Human beings were not meant to lead other human beings.
That makes all life.
MGTOW life.
But were you guys talking about Black Pill earlier?
Like, MGTOW life doesn't agree with Black Pill, and that's understandable. Because especially the people
There's a difference with Black Pill.
Right.
Are you talking about Black Pill in race Black Pill, or are you talking about Black Pill in the philosophy Black Pill? Which one are you talking about?
I don't know which one it is. I know one of them is the one where they talk about lookism, resources, and that other bullshit. And
Yeah, you're
talking
The
about
one where it's basically like flip flopping, like basically like a Democrat.
Yeah,
Democratic
and the other
Party
one is
like
basically, if you really want to talk, if they really wanted to be Black Pill, they would watch George Carlin, because he was the original Black Pill, you know.
In a sense,
like I said, there's I said the quote earlier.
Are you talking about like Black Pill representing the black men? Black Pill.
No, not that. I don't agree with that shit either.
All right.
I'm talking about.
I'm a bit confused.
Yeah, I don't really follow that.
You know who George Carlin is? George Carlin. He's a comedian.
Vaguely, very vaguely.
I guarantee you, there's a saying that he uses. They want you smart enough to run the equipment, dumb enough not to question.
Yeah.
Does that ring a bell?
You mentioned it before.
Does that ring a bell with George Carlin?
Yeah, you mentioned it before.
Right. Like, it was one of his comedy acts. Like where he talked about the elite and the golf courses where they use the further divide up the country, and I'm gonna expand upon that. They're not using a golf course to divide up a country. They're using the golf course to further divide up the world. And it's not dumb enough. It's not smart enough to run the equipment. It's smart enough to run and fix the equipment. Dumb enough without the question.
Oh, you mean like when they build like rustic or Italian structures in like California? Are they like they try to like and they import trees and then they put a bunch of
what do you think Starbucks
shrubbery
is?
up?
What do you think Starbucks is?
Well, it's basically like a
Starbucks
simulated
got their own language.
Yeah, exactly.
And McDonald's too.
McDonald's, Wendy's, all the fast food chains.
All the franchises, yeah.
Yeah, but Starbucks is the big one that you need to worry about. They've got their own language. They've got frappe, crapper, grande, ass wipe, Pacino shit.
Ass Pacino. That's a good one.
Yeah, like, that was funny, man. That was funny.
Yeah. Starbucks is the big one.
That's what he came up with in that good head on the show. This Ass Pacino.
Yeah, Ass Pacino.
I love the life. I love the life of being MGTOW. I really do.
Dude,
I love being single.
I don't exactly. Exactly. I don't necessarily have like 100% freedom because I have to work. But once I save money up, it'll be great.
Yeah.
It'll just be a really good situation.
Well, that's another thing. That's another thing people get mixed up with about it. Or if you're not financially stable, you're not MGTOW. That's another thing they try to make up. No. you can still, you can't. It's impossible. I mean, going your own way is trying to achieve that by going your own way to achieve it. So that's your point. Going your own way to achieve it.
And
Well,
it's like,
they're trying to say you can't dream. Even like
I'm not.
you can be MGTOW. You just have to have you already have to have your plan set in stone before you do it. It's like, wait, says who?
Yeah, it's good to plan. It's good to plan. It's a good idea to plan.
You know, a boxer once said, I can't remember what his name is, but I know the big boxer. You have the plan is all set. You have a plan in your head and how you're going to win this match. But when you get
You don't
hit in
think
the
John
head
Foreman,
one
do
time,
you?
huh?
George Foreman?
Huh?
George Foreman?
But the second you get
Well,
hit in
George
the head,
Foreman.
yeah, I think that's him. But it's like the second you get hit in the head, that plan goes out the window.
Yeah.
You know?
You can't plan a fight. It's impossible.
Right, it's impossible. It's like,
all right, guys, I gotta dip out, but I'm gonna be listening to you.
All right, but it's
It was
like,
nice talking to you, Sigma.
it's also like a battle plan.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Like it's also like a battle plan, and it's like,
yeah,
everything goes is according to plan until the first shots get fired or the first explosion, and then again it turns into chaos. Then it's just basically you're just mitigating. You're trying to mitigate the amount of friendly fire you have.
Yeah,
you know,
you're talking in a military sense. Yeah,
right. It's basically mitigation. It's all it is damage control. All combat is damage control.
Yeah, and eliminating where it's coming from. Yeah.
Right.
And seeing what's left, seeing who's in shot fire, and getting them out of the way, so at least you can reserve what you've got if you do get hit hard.
And it's like, I'm like I know better. Like I learned from other. I also try to learn as much from other cultures as well. I learned from World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korea, the first Iraq, the first Kuwaiti conflict where they were basically fighting over the oil. Then the second two wars where they came back in and started fighting over the oil second time. And you know what the Vietnam War and these current wars have in common?
Go on.
They have, like I said, they both turned into an invisible enemy and defeated a superpower. Now a lot of people won't say, well, we lost the Iraq and the Afghanistan war. We lost.
Do you know why? Do you know why?
I know.
I'm going to tell you the reason why.
Huh?
The reason why, right, when you're learning history, when the Americans got their independence, the only reason they beat the British is because they came from England, from Ireland, Scotland, Wales. Exactly. So they knew the army tactics. Now, when you guys went to Iraq, you didn't know really how aggressive the guerrilla warfare were going to be. So you didn't know the tactics. And that's why you lost. That's why you had to bomb everything.
Exactly.
Because you didn't know how they were going to play. See, it's common sense.
Punji sticks. Punji sticks. IEDs.
Yeah.
It's basically
because you guys didn't really. You guys, even though America had associations with Iraq and Iran before that, ISIS came from an American term. Nothing to do. They weren't called ISIS. They called them ISIS, and actually was run by the American government. So basically, instead of learning from the mistakes and learning from what tactics and the way the culture was, they just went straight in there, and they lost technically because they had to go back a second time. It weren't like the Civil War in America where it was just one war and you won your independence because you understood the tactics and you could nip it in the bud in one go. So I'll give you Americans that. At least you fucking knew when to nip it in the bud because you understood the country where you came from. Well, back then they were more Irish and English, so they still understood more than you guys. Right. You know what I mean? Because they actually came from there. They were immigrants that came over, colonies. So they understood. They were direct from there. So that's how you won your independence.
In a normal battlefield, an open field battlefield, the normal American army would win. but in the battlefield that is fought in trees, that is fought in crevices, we would. It's
Now,
good.
what other culture? Now, what other culture you're describing right now did exactly the same? Which other culture? There's a relevance there.
Oh man, I know there's Vietnam. There's it's an ancient. I know
They were fighting the open. They were fighting the open, but did really bad when it came to forestry.
The Romans, the Roman Empire.
Yeah, Romans, exactly. They were good in the open. When it comes to guerrilla warfare, they had to line 2 by 2 and walk through a forest, and that's where most of the European wars came from. That one war in Germany. That the one war that happened. When he said, "Give my legions back. Give me all my legions back." That's what the Caesar said. Give me my legions back. That war, what he was talking about, them legions that he lost. That's what set off all the European wars. You look up at your history. Seriously, it's amazing what you can learn, man. And telling me that you're past learning, this is what I'm saying. You described then what the Romans did. They were good in the open, but when it comes to guerrilla warfare, they were shit. Shit. And that's what the Japanese did. The Japanese did it in Vietnam War when they dug themselves in the mud, deep down, in like loads of little fucking tunnels and shit. That's guerrilla warfare. That's why they nearly won. That's why they won, technically. In a way.
They won. It's basically that is the premises of it. It's basically you're facing a larger unit. You're facing
the only thing that stopped it was bigger guns called the atomic bomb. Bigger guns, see what I'm saying?
For the most part, they're not gonna nuke their own area. They're not gonna nuke potential farmland area. At least for the most part.
Do you know what gives a good description? Of what happened? Is Logan when he's in Japan and he's locked up and he runs and he jumps in that thing and that Japanese guy goes in with him and he protects him and he burns in that movie, in the Marvel movie. Is it Logan? Where he goes to Japan. Well, when he goes to Japan and he's locked up as a prisoner in the Second World War.
I think it's
and they dropped the bomb. They dropped this bomb on Japan, Nagasaki, and when he explodes and he's running, that gives you a true representation of what it's really like. Fuck. And that's what I'm saying. That's the only thing that stopped the fucking Korean War and all the rest of it. And not Korean War, the Vietnam War was Second World War with the atomic bomb, wasn't it? Yeah, Second World War, atomic bomb. Yeah, Second World War.
Yeah, it was Second World War. And it's like
I'm getting mixed up.
They saw the devastation that bomb created on the land, the surrounding land, the people, the wildlife, the trees, the ground, and to this day that ground is still irradiated.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, same in Russia. That's irradiated too.
Chernobyl.
Yeah. Fucking crazy shit.
Yeah, and the Fukushima. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure that ground's still shacked up. Even though
do they not learn? I mean, for instance, you take the Corona, the Ebola, the Corona, Ebola, SARS. They're all cold related, right? They're from the cold family. Now, when they take the swab up your nose, that test only detects the cold virus, which the Corona is a part of. So it's going to pick it up straight away. Even though if you haven't got Corona, it still picks up the flu. So it looks like everyone's got it then. The tests have been proven. It's just a test for cold. And because of Corona, the Ebola and a few others are all related to the cold virus. Look it up, man. And that's how they get around the test. They try and make it look like everyone's got the problem. And then you got to think about the second wave. Well, if you don't wipe out the first wave, the second wave are going to get an immunity And well, the first way is going to get immunity, and whoever's like left are already immune, they're going to pass it on to the kids through breastfeeding, and the father's going to pass it on too through his genes.
And
So
that is
therefore,
how humans get an immunity to a disease by the breastfeeding. The lymph nodes. The lymph nodes.
Oh, your tonsils. Your tonsils,
Hmm?
that's what the tonsils are there for. Your tonsils recognize disease. That's what an immune system is, your tonsils, right?
Oh.
And your tonsils recognize a virus. And then next time you get it, because it's already created antibodies and it killed it, it recognizes that virus again. And then when they say about, it's transformed the virus, it's then re-releasing it again to say that, it's adapted. It's getting bad with the antibiotics. You can't cure it. Oh, there's a second wave, all this, that, and the other. No, it's because they've re-released it because they're messing with man-made fucking diseases. Why? Smallpox wiped off out South America,
To promote
right?
fear. To promote fear. To promote fear.
Yeah. I mean,
you got
that
people
wasn't true
afraid
disease.
of the oxygen they breathe, right?
Yeah, think about it.
You
Right,
can get everything you want out of them.
Right, conquistadors, right? They went to South America and smallpox natural, right? Now, why is it that it came back recently, just after the First World War? It came back, smallpox, for a little time, and then it went away. And now, why is it that they're taking them old viruses and modifying them? Why they brought out SARS and Ebola? Why they brought out, Corona? You know why? Because it's a test to see whether they could wipe people out in one go or not. That's why.
It must be a pretty amusing test to them.
They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about women. They don't care about men or children. They're evil.
Right.
They're evil cabal, fucking all from the United Nations. Who? A lot of them.
And it's like I said, I mean, I don't know why the United Nations was started, but I know it ain't good, you know.
Well, they're backing up Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, Agenda 2050. They backed up Bill Gates in 2015. He patented the coronavirus, and in 2016, the WHO stamped it and said, "Yeah, you can start selling it and making an antidote. Do whatever you want with it because it's patented to you now." And they're giving the go ahead. So the WHO's behind it, and who runs the WHO? United Nations, and then the Bilderberg Group with all the nations that come together, which is illegal because they're not supposed to talk about politics, but they do secretly, and that's what the Bilderberg Group is. And they come together deciding what they're going to do about censorship, about platforms, this, that, and the other, about what they're going to do, about how to inflate the stock market and then decrease it. That's what they do at the Bilderberg Group. They're all the nations that come together and they talk secretly once every 4 years. Yeah. And it's all interconnected. When you really do your research, it's like, wow, this is mad.
All right. Hey, on that note, hey, we want to come on the next live stream because it's like 1 o'clock and I've got to make a phone call tomorrow morning.
Hey, don't worry, man. I haven't been to bed yet, and it's 6:10 in the morning. I still haven't been to bed yet.
It's about 1 a.m. where I'm at. All right.
5 hours.
Yeah. Ish.
Nice one, man. Hey, it's been good to talk to you, man.
Hey, it's pretty good to talk with you too. If you're still in the chat, this is we are here with Sigma and Mick on the win. Baron Yam was in there, and it's Mick on the win signing off.
Yeah, signing off.
10-4.
Guys.